is Amy, and the instructional procedure that I chose is called Making Words. This is a very fun spelling activity that I'm sure many of us are familiar with, where we start with a larger word and then see how many smaller words we can make from that larger word. So it's a great spelling activity, as I said. It helps practice the sound symbol correspondence as well as spelling patterns. It's also great for English learners because it can be a collaborative activity. It's very hands-on, and then, as I said, it can help with practicing spelling patterns that maybe ELs have been working on. And the lesson that I am using it to support is my vocabulary lesson that I gave students 4 new vocabulary words. We define those words and then practice synonyms and antonyms with those words. So this activity is just supporting spelling one of those words, and the word that I chose to use is melancholy. I figure this is a word that students usually get stuck on when they're trying to learn how to spell it, so I thought it would be a great activity to practice spelling not only melancholy but other smaller words that can be found in the word melancholy. You will need letter cards for this activity, and teachers probably usually have a ton of these. I just made some. You could make your own. Probably want to laminate them so that they last a little bit longer, but you'll want to put the specific letters for the word that you choose, in this case melancholy, in separate bags. So a melancholy word for each bag that you have. And I'd give one of these to each of the students, and then for each group, because I probably have students work in groups for this assignment, especially if I do have ELs, because that will help them. I would give each group one of these, and I made these. You can have students write in their journals, but I just made these real quick from Word. Put some boxes with enough boxes for the word melancholy, and then made columns for each of how many letters they'll need to spell each of the words. So either way, like I said, they can just use their journals and create columns and write down the words that they come up with. So, and then finally, I do have a teacher copy, just so that I have some words on hand once at the end when we start sharing the words that we come up with. So once students have their letters and their worksheets, I would have them pour out their letters and separate the letters into consonants and vowels, just so that they can see which of each they have to work with. And once they all have their letters out, I would then go ahead and have the students, as a class, just go ahead and name the letters to me. Might have the younger students name the letters and the sounds, just so that they're aware of what they'll be working with. And then you're not going to be telling them, they won't know that the word melancholy is in here. That's kind of the point, is so you want them to start with the smaller words, and hopefully as they start building bigger and bigger words, they'll see, oh, I can also make the word melancholy with all of these letters. So teachers can also choose maybe a word from their recent reading or another vocabulary word that they've given them, but you definitely want to use something that the students have recently been introduced to. So once they have their letter cards and their worksheets, and you've gone over all of the letters with them, you can tell them to start making words. I would probably give them a designated amount of time that they should spend in each column, because you don't want them to get stuck in one column trying to come up with a ton of different 3-letter words because they think there's more out there. Have them move on to the next column if they seem to be getting stuck on one word. So for example, if they were starting with their 2-letter words, they would, and that's why these boxes are great, because they can put the letters in the boxes to kind of give them a visual of the word they're trying to create. So if they put the word or the letter M up here, they could say, okay, what vowel do I have? And I could create the word me. And then the group would write down the word me in their column. And they would continue on and build bigger and bigger words until, like I said, hopefully they recognize that they can also create the word melancholy. Now, while this part is taking place, it's really important that the teacher be walking around, checking for errors. If there's any confusions, the teacher needs to be walking around and making sure students are coming up with real words, and also that they're spelling them correctly, so that because that is the point of this being a spelling activity. So that's basically it. And then at the end, once the time is up, or however you choose to end, it'd be a good idea to have students share with the class what they've come up with in each column, and that way students can see words that they might not have recognized and others did, and vice versa. So it's a great idea to have them share at the end of this little activity. So and that's where your teacher copy will come in handy. In case for some reason in the 6 and 7 columns they couldn't come up with anything, you have a little bit to show them as an example. And then I might also, if I have a whiteboard, either have the students come up and write in each columns and make columns on the whiteboard and have the students come up and write, or just share in general. But again, this is a great spelling activity for students to practice their sound symbol correspondence and their spelling patterns. So that is making words.